Welcome to Life Talks, another episode with Pastor Drew. Drew, how you doing?
Yes, I'm well today.
And Dan is here with us.
I'm back briefly.
Leaving soon.
Dan's leaving for Africa. I just think you love them more than you love us.
No comment.
So, Drew, we heard your testimony, how God saved you, and then the second episode we heard your call into ministry, which was phenomenal. If you haven't heard that, go back, listen to it. So today we're gonna have a little fun. I got 9 questions for Drew.
Oh, nice.
9, not 10.
No,
9. Okay,
and they go in order. This is kind of like peeling onions. Okay. So we're gonna just, by the end you're gonna be weeping and crying, and no,
it's a therapy session.
Okay. Mommy.
So the first question is Dairy Queen Blizzard. What's your choice?
The flavor?
Yeah, like if you go to Dairy, if you go to Dairy Queen and order,
or do you not have
order a Blizzard?
I love Bluebell ice cream. I love ice cream.
Yeah.
When I go to Dairy Queen, it's a Blizzard that's got to be. I don't like chocolate. I don't like peanut butter. So something like sugar cookie.
All right, this
blueberry.
episode is over.
Sugar cookie or blueberry. I love, like I said last, I love Reese's peanut butter cups,
but
slightly chilled. But I do not want to eat peanut butter and chocolate in my ice cream. I want to be refreshed.
Ask me mine.
What's yours?
Mine is Reese's peanut butter cup.
Double chocolate Reese's. No.
All right, so
excellent.
See, I'll take a cup of vanilla ice cream and saturate it with Hershey's chocolate syrup, and then as it melts, you take a little bit of the solid with the soup.
I thought you said you didn't
So
like
now
chocolate.
we found out Drew's 5 years old.
No, I don't like.
Chocolate and peanut butter combined.
Yes, peanut butter, not even in a cookie. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I feel like you need to go to
Reese's
therapy.
peanut butter cup.
I thought he was a Christian.
Now my wife will sit there with a jar of peanut butter and a spoon.
Okay.
And just
eat it.
Oh yeah.
Last thing I had before I went to bed last night was peanut butter and saltines. First thing I had when I got up this morning was peanut butter on a banana.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you've got a peanut allergy, do not kiss Dan. That would be bad. All right. So
That's so many
That's
things
the first qualifier.
Have you been to Cookout yet?
Yes.
Okay. What tray did you get?
I got the burger tray with a corn dog and chicken strips.
All right. Wow.
And a shake.
Wow, that was
a shake.
So that was a heavy
Welcome to
caloric meal.
The first
too.
shake was a caramel shake. Okay.
Okay.
The second shake was it was the banana pudding, which I did not like. It was horrible. It was like just trying to suck a banana through a straw.
You're in North Carolina. Don't talk bad about banana pudding.
Oh, I love banana pudding.
I hate
That's
banana
why
pudding.
I got it.
I hate banana
I
pudding.
love it.
I don't say it out loud.
I like it.
No one tell.
All right. Okay. So
by the way, what he described, the corn dog, the chicken strips,
and the burger.
And the burger and the caramel shake, he does not need to eat again till 2026.
Well, I couldn't believe I'm like
his arteries are literally
I'm serious, that's like 3,500 calories.
My kid, I can go to Cookout and feed my kids off of 2 trays,
Yeah, hey,
that's
true. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's like 3 meals in a box.
All right, question number 2. If you could go to any concert, past or present,
oh my gosh,
which concert would you go to?
Any concert, past or present.
Yeah, like I'm talking like band, artist.
Now, yeah.
Be honest. We're getting real, Drew. We're getting real with you. There's no wrong answer. No, you're not going to get in trouble.
Okay, like Christian and secular, or just Third Day.
Third Day, okay.
Third Day.
That's your Christian answer.
I'd love to go see Third Day. Or Toby Mac.
Okay.
Or
okay, so what's this?
Or NF.
Okay. Secular.
I'm all over the place. Secular,
hold
Bon
I haven't even heard
Jovi,
of them.
He's a rapper. He's a rapper.
You like rap?
Yeah, well.
Oh, man.
It's Christian rap. It's Christian rap.
All right, so
I like old school classic rock.
Okay.
Talk about
Boston,
those.
Styx.
Thank you.
REO Speedwagon.
Okay.
Yes.
Some classics.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Do you do any country at all?
No, because I've never.
We need to swap seats.
I've never had someone leave me and take my dog, and kill my crops.
I mean, if we want to talk about the messages in songs,
I don't even want to ask Dan because I don't even know if you would go to a concert.
No, absolutely not.
There's not even a band that Dan would want to go see.
The only concert thing I've ever seen other than comedy, I went to see Celine Dion with my wife because that was her birthday present that year, and I still haven't recovered.
Dan was the one guy in the entire concert with his arms folded and his legs crossed and just saying, "Can is this over yet?"
You forgot I brought a book.
Wow,
that wasn't that bad. But.
So mine would have been Petra 1991 Beyond Belief tour. That was.
Oh my god!
That was.
Hey, you want to know something funny though? I wasn't allowed to listen to Petra.
I mean, Petra was
or Stryper.
That was the boundary. If you could listen to Petra, I mean,
I wasn't allowed to listen to Amy Grant.
But Petra, the Petra Beyond Belief album was the best. I miss that entire. Do
you still is that on your Spotify playlist?
No, but I mean, I could listen to it. It takes me back. It's more for memories than it is I love jamming to them. But if I could go back to anything, if I could go back to any concert, it would probably be the 30-year anniversary of Joshua Tree U2. I missed that.
That's a good choice
because I was on sabbatical, and my friend invited me to go see them in concert in Lansing, Michigan, and I chose.
Okay. Who's your most? I'm going to jump in. Who's your most embarrassing secret music pleasure?
Secret music pleasure? Celine Dion. No.
I don't know. I don't get embarrassed that much.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I was actually
Yanni.
Yanni. Okay. Yanni. That's not bad.
I like the Battle of the Violins and some of those pieces. Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, I'm not telling.
It's the Carpenters. Every answer for Dan's the Carpenters.
No,
Carpenters have some good songs.
Stevie Nicks.
I love ABBA. I actually went to there was a concert movie of them in the 80s, and they brought it back last year when they said, and I went to see that.
Oh, does that count as a concert?
I mean. Because me and my wife, there's only 6 of us in the whole movie theater, and we were all 60 or older, but we were jamming.
That's a concert.
So that question actually builds off to the next question I was going to ask you. What's your favorite movie that you're ashamed to admit that you like? But you're not embarrassed. Inside Out.
No. No. Let's see.
Terms of Endearment.
You just aged yourself by that. Because I think
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Terms of Endearment?
It was a big chick flick back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm embarrassed that
I mean, you're like, this is a movie I like, but I'm gonna have to turn my man card for this.
Oh, that kind of.
Oh, I thought it was more like I turn to the pastor card, I didn't really like
that movie. No.
We're talking man card here, so I'll give you mine. You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan. It's
a good movie. Good movie.
That was one of the first movies that my wife and I bought together, and I can watch that movie at any time.
Yeah,
mine's probably The Notebook.
I was going to say that Notebook.
Really?
I was going to say that.
What? Dan's a Notebook guy.
No, I watched it once.
But you liked it.
That or Where the Crawdads Sing, which was a mystery and a chick flick. So
Where the Crawdads Sing?
Yeah, that's a recent one. It was like a murder mystery love story.
Okay. Yeah. Where the Crawdads? Are you sure that's what the movie's called?
It was off the coast of North Carolina.
Okay.
Or Louisiana, someplace.
Again, I don't know.
I'm going to ask Treva. When we see her on Sunday, we'll ask her.
Okay. I don't know what she would say.
All right.
Because I don't even know what to say.
All right, question number 4.
Again, embarrassment. And now there's some movies that I'm not proud of that I like.
All right, we'll go to question number 4. Question number 4 is, if you could choose no one from the Bible here, okay, but 3 people that you could have dinner with from history. 3 people from history. You can't use the Bible. Who would those 3 people be?
I would want to have dinner with Spurgeon.
Okay.
I would want to have dinner with Luther.
Okay.
And I love old. And I would want to have dinner with, let's see, no one from the Bible.
Donald Trump.
No.
This is a 22-minute episode.
No.
It won't be. It won't be by the end of
He's
this.
going to edit these. So all the spacing is going to come out. The final guy, I would like to have,
All right, we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
All right, dinner with 3 people from the Bible. You should be able to rattle this off.
Okay, Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus, I'd like to have dinner with Joseph. That'd be interesting. And I'd like to have dinner with, Peter.
Peter?
Open mouth,
Peter?
insert foot.
Peter over Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Dan,
Yeah.
what about you?
I didn't think I was going to answer this. David.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Noah, because I just got a lot of questions about logistics.
Yeah.
I love that.
boat smell?
And the smartest man who ever lived.
Solomon.
Solomon?
Nope. It's the wisest man that ever lived.
Who's the smartest man?
Who do you think this is a theological question for
The
you.
smartest man that ever lived?
Philosophical, theological
Well,
conjecture.
there's debate that it could have been Adam.
That's who I think it was.
Okay.
Because Adam still had his original brain just
Before that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he was the smartest man that ever
Interesting.
lived.
Okay. Interesting.
Huh.
All right. What about the 3 people from history?
Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
Probably Thomas Jefferson.
That's a good choice.
And if I was going to be super spiritual like Drew and only least great,
Those people interest me.
Savonarola.
Oh, that's a good one.
He stood up.
He was kind of
Catholic,
the within the Reformation. In the Catholic Church.
He was like
yeah.
a spark
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
Reformation.
yeah.
He was a very brave
yeah.
intellectual.
That's good.
My third guy would be George Mueller. Just to hear the stories about how the Lord worked. Setting a table.
What was the name of that book? Do you remember? Because you were.
I
Christian
forget.
schools.
I forget what it's called, but it's
there's
a
a
classic.
book on his prayer.
George Mueller's something like.
I had to read it in high school, and it was life changing.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't remember it, but it was life changing.
It'll be in the show notes.
What
if we're on it? We'll find it.
What book, Drew? What book would you suggest everybody should read outside of the Bible? Like everyone needs to read this book, but just not the Bible. What I'm saying is your answer can't be the Bible because that's what answer
Christian
you would
book
get.
or secular book?
It could be any book.
A purpose-driven life.
Your Best Life Now.
Your Best Life Now by Joel Osteen. Yes, because that's exactly what we need. Like just recently, the Other Half of Church is a great book.
Okay.
But you'd have to specify like for married people, his needs, her needs. If he only knew, there's it depends. I don't know if there's any.
That's like asking which kid you love the most.
Yeah, life-saving book outside of the Word. I mean, don't read too many books about the book is what I always tell people. So if it's all regurgitation of what the truths are in the Word of God.
Sometimes there's books that have left an impact on you. You know what I mean? Like for me, I would say, and I get what you're saying because sometimes we read. I believe every Christian should read "Knowing God" by J.I. Packer.
Yes, or
that is I would suggest.
What about
that to
in
anyone.
a secular book?
Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
This one's going to shock you for me. Probably one of the most influential books I've ever read for me politically. Atlas Shrugged.
Ooh,
interesting.
I've never read it, but I've heard a lot about it.
Interesting.
And then The Fountainhead, which is one of our other Ayn Rand, the libertarian, pagan.
Very, very big pagan.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Search for Significance, a good book.
Yeah. I mean, as far as, and if you're not familiar with Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, he lived through the Holocaust. He was a Austrian Jew who was a psychologist who went through Auschwitz and just as almost like a social experiment was observing people the entire time and writes a book on his experience.
We should do an episode sometime and like have 6 categories and each of us list our
that's a good
favorite guy.
idea. I love that idea. Write that down, Josh.
What's the idea?
We've done a favorite books episode, but it was been probably years ago that we've done.
Yeah, I don't even remember my
that.
answers now.
Okay, number 7. Give me your favorite book of the Bible. See, this is a good churchy pastor question.
My favorite book of the Bible would have to be gosh, see again, because
You must be fun on Friday nights when we're picking at a restaurant.
Hang on. Coming out of lostness, everything was truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
James spoke to me. First Peter, Second Peter. I mean, all of these books were such truth, and it mesmerized me. That was kept from me my entire life.
But you're on a desert island. God says you can have one book of the Bible to take. What book of the Bible do you take?
I want to take with me Ephesians.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good book. I think I would take Matthew. That's what I would do. Story of Jesus. I mean, just never gets old. Dan, what about you?
Galatians.
Okay.
Galatians changed my life out of legalism.
Ephesians helped me see who I was in Christ. So that's
good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. All right. Calvinist over here. Arminianism over here.
Dude, you're asking this out
Where-
loud?
Where are you?
5 minutes.
Where
We
are
are
you
gonna
on
get
the spectrum?
so much mail.
No, we're not. Our church is so cool with this.
Yeah, but people who don't go to our church will listen to it. It'll start making.
I don't care about them.
It'll start making the rounds of the young, restless, and
The
reformed.
Calvinists need to be fine. You had no choice.
Yeah.
But to ask it, they need to be okay with it.
This question is foreordained. Where are you on the
glad we
spectrum of Calvinism, Arminianism?
right in the middle.
You're dead center in the middle.
Molinist?
with
I'm
the dead skunks.
I'm slightly, let's say, 2 degrees to the right if we're talking degrees to Calvinism.
Okay.
Yeah.
You lean
I lean
Calvinistic.
towards Calvinistic,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
But
You should have made a scale of 1 to 5, not 1 to 10.
yeah, I mean,
How many points?
How many?
No.
How many petals on your tulip?
Calvin, great truth from the Word of God. Arminius, Jock of Arminius was deemed a heretic in the Synod of Dort. I mean, it's,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we don't want to get into
Well,
that.
much
Yeah,
of Calvinism and much of Arminianism is well removed from what Calvin and
Yes.
Arminius
What they
Actually,
meant,
actually
what
taught.
they-
it was
exactly.
their followers that kind of
Yes.
went to extreme positions of each of their
murdering
writings.
each other.
Right,
Yeah.
That's why I say I preach the Bible. I don't preach Calvinism or
Yeah.
Arminianism.
Yeah. All right. So this last question is a little bit more personal, but I want to hear you've adopted 2 children,
Mhm.
and just walk us through that story. Because I mean, I think every story of adoption is a beautiful story. How did God lead you into that? Tell us a little bit about that.
God led us to that early in our marriage in Fort Smith, Arkansas, just because of the Word of God. This is pure and undefiled religion to take care of the widows and orphans in their distress, orphans and widows in their distress. So we began pouring into prayer, seeking the Lord in that. And so Treva could not have children for 5 years, the first 5 years of our marriage. There were some medical things that had to be corrected through surgery, and once that happened, we started having children. But we didn't want it just to be us populating the earth. We wanted to help rescue. That's my heart. That's Treva's heart, rescuing people and giving them the foundation of the kingdom. And so we went through training in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and God just shut the door in Fort Smith, Arkansas. We had too many kids. The day that we were ready to be licensed, our CPS worker was coming over to say, congratulations, you're done, here's your license. And we had to tell her that Treva was pregnant. And it pushed us out of being able to foster children because we had too many children under the age of 5 in our house. And so we had to wait until they got older and got past 5 years old. So that took us all the way to Texas. And so in Texas, we went back through all the training and we got our first child, a little Hispanic boy from a family of 3. And it was interesting. I went through the whole turmoil of, can I show my family that I love this child equally as my own children? And I kind of stood back and I said, no, I don't want this child to know that I love him as much as I love my children. I don't want my children to think, oh, daddy doesn't love us anymore. So I wrestled with that with the first child that we fostered. But we got to we got over those things. There were a lot of things that God was working on us to sanctify us and to get these selfish things out of us. This is not about us. This is about the children. We want the best for the child, and we had to get over that because we were willing to adopt and bring kids in left and right for us.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the supers. They're just so wonderful. But we learned quickly it's not about us. It was about the kids, because at any moment that kid could be reunited with their family, and that was the sole intention of fostering, was reunification, not just fostering to adopt. So you never went into this with the mindset of adoption, because they told you from the very beginning, this is fostering, and with the intention of reuniting this child with their parents, because they believe that is the best, even if the child's parents were on crack or whatever.
Yeah.
So God worked through us in that, getting that mindset in us and changing our heart towards that we wanted to get, the children back to a healthy family. And so we made relationships with those families. A lot of people distance themselves from the family because, oh gosh, they're going to come, they're going to rob us, they're going to show up on our doorstep, and what do we do with this person? Well, we wanted to embrace these people. So we started to build relationships with the parents of the children that we fostered. And that opened doors for the gospel. It opened doors to show people that they're loved and that they can be loved. So that whole process helped grow us and mature us as well. And then that first child was reunited with his siblings, and he was adopted into a family in El Paso, Texas. And the day that he was adopted into that family, we got a phone call from the CPS workers in Fort Worth, or in Houston, Texas, and they said, hey, we have a little girl. We're going to intervene in that family. Would you be willing to take her for a season? And we said, sure. So they called us, and they took this child from their parents, or from her parents, and brought her over to our house, 15 months old, and she was as independent as a 20-year-old at 15 months old, and she didn't need anybody. She found food. She was versed in going through the garbage cans, and Treva tried to rock her. She'd scream. She wanted nothing to do with us. So again, another process of learning how to get that child bond, that bond with mama back. And so Treva poured her life into building that bond with this child. And this whole story is crazy. We got called to a different church during this time. And so we had to leave Shia in Houston.
Wow.
And so after having her for a few years, she was left in Houston. We moved to Wisconsin, and Shia went downhill. She went downhill and reverted back to childlike attitudes, hitting, screaming, biting, going into depression mode, and isolating herself in the corner of rooms. And so the judge, during a trial, FaceTimed my wife, called her in the middle of a court hearing for Shia, and said, Mrs. Super. And she's like, yes. And he's like, I'm Judge so-and-so from Houston, Texas. Do you have a minute to talk? And Treva's like, yes. What's going on? And he said, we have a little girl here, Shia, that isn't doing well. And we really want her to succeed. And so he said, would you be willing to take her if I can get her over to Wisconsin? Now, this was never heard of. A judge cannot send a child from the state custody of Houston, Texas to another state. She is a child. She is a ward of that state, and she cannot be moved. Well, he rewrote some laws, and 10 days later, she was on a plane to Wisconsin, and her CPS worker flew with her to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They drove to our house, and the minute that Shia saw us, she just lit up and smiled, and it took her about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks to acclimate back. And we had been without her for about 5 or 6 months. And so that was the start of her rehabilitation. And so that changed our life as well. And we wanted to start that process again. And so while we were in Wisconsin, again, we went and got our licensing and got licensed to foster. We got a phone call after we adopted Shia. We got a phone call that they had a 3-week-old baby in the NICU up in Madison, Wisconsin. Would you be willing to take this child? And so we said, sure. We went up there and took this 3-week-old little baby and brought him home, and began to just love him as our own, and worked with his parents. We got to know his parents. I led his father to the Lord in jail. Mama, we don't know where she is today, but 3 years later, 2.5 years later, we adopted Carter as our own. And, you know, that's another long story in itself, but that's in a nutshell. That's how we got into it. We just wanted to help rescue children. We didn't want our lives to just be about our own biological children. And we also wanted our children to understand that this is a mission field.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about us and our you know, middle-class family that's living well in a house with shelter and food and clothing and all that stuff with fellowship with other people. We want to let them know there are lost people out there. There are kids that don't have fathers, that don't have mothers, that need a family to love them as, you know, Christ loved us.
Yeah.
And so that was the catalyst to a journey that I don't think is over. I think my wife, you know, I think there's a future of fostering here in North Carolina.
That's awesome.
But we'll see. I know that was probably more than...
We started with laughter and we ended with tears. This is beautiful.
This is Life Talks.
This is Life Talks.
Yeah, Life Talks.
Subscribe, like.
Yeah.
Drew, this was great, man. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing with us that story. Thank you that you told us how many calories you eat at Cookout. But I think the more people get to know you, the more we're so excited that you're here. So we got one more episode with you, and we're going to talk about why God brought you here to North Carolina. And we'll talk about that next time on Life Talks. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope this has been encouragement to you. I hope you're excited to get to know Drew, Treva, the entire super family. God's brought us an amazing gift here at Life Fellowship, and we look forward to seeing what God's going to do in and through them here at Life Fellowship. Thank you again for joining us on Life Talks. We'll talk to you next time.